Years 9 through 13. I'm probably getting some years wrong, it's all a jumble. But I do hope to go through all 49 years of my life before my 50th birthday, so bear with me. I remember learning how to program and logo in a computer lab with a turtle. I remember discovering RPGs and being a DM. And I remember a girl in 7th grade, her name was Zoe. Didn't have a lot of money, put Brill cream in my then hair, dressed in the best clothes I had, modeling my feeble efforts to suit this uninterested girl on the Victorian novels I was then reading. She rejected me, but at least I tried. I remember a man by the name of Mr. Judici hosted a frog jump at Sutter Elementary School. This was in 4th and 5th grade, and he hosted a frog jump based off of the Mark Twain story. If it had not been for Mr. Judici, I would not have dived in so early to the great Mark Twain's wonderful works. I once wrote a poem in Mr. Judici's class, confessing the abusive turmoil that was going on in our apartment. And Mr. Judici was so moved by my poem that he read this in front of the class. Another girl I tried to woo. Charity Joy, whatever happened to you? I called you on the phone and sang to you, but that wasn't enough. Oh well. I loved Michael Jackson's Thriller, the Michael Jackson binder that I held dearly to my bosom. Because I didn't hold it like a man, like this. The bullies chased me and beat the shit out of me as I walked a mile home from school. Sometimes I won the fights, but very often I didn't. Which takes me back to another moment earlier in life. 2nd grade, a kid by the name of Neil Jackson. He was black, I was white. He started off as a bully, but we became friends because there was one racist neighbor who told Neil Jackson to get the fuck off her property. And I called her out at the age of 9, telling her that she was a fucking racist bitch. Neil Jackson's parents came over to my mother one time and said, "You've got a very good boy there." I just couldn't understand it. Hating someone because of their skin. Abuse from the bullies, abuse from the men in my mother's line. Yeah, I was mentally troubled. And at one point I was sent away. The amount of pain I carried for so long, in which I had no expressive outlet. Oh, I loved Prince as well. He was one of the reasons I wanted to own an electric guitar. That wasn't in the cards at that point in my life. I can't overstate how my generation was often left at home. I can't overstate how little the grief and trauma that kids growing up in that era were disregarded. I watched every episode of Star Trek multiple times. The old series with Captain Kirk. It was a book that I checked out dozens of times from the Santa Clara Public Library called The Star Trek Concordance by Joe and John Trimble. Star Trek helped alleviate a lot of the pain that I was going through. This book, I bought it last year. There's so much I'm trying to compress here. My discovery of Doctor Who playing on PBS. My weird ability to remember every single movie theater for every single movie I saw in the theater. My tendency to remember every actor, every director, every cinematographer. The beginnings of an idea of me becoming a filmmaker. Am I a filmmaker here on TikTok? I don't know. But I did take those skills and I applied it to audio. The man I mentioned in my previous TikTok, the man who should have been my father. He was a technical engineer and he took this little radio I had with a cassette player and he added the Verispeed, thus planting the seeds for me in my 40s to pursue audio drama, and before that, in my 30s, podcasting. The beginnings of a theatrical disposition. Being so nervous when I actually had to kiss another girl on stage. Somehow this made me a little bit more confident, slightly so, in the real world. In 7th grade, I remember programming an animation, primitive sprite technology in which I had a target with legs and a gun with legs and the gun shooting the target, which the teacher teaching that computing class said this is the most elaborate sprite program that I've ever seen, but I wanted to use each and every fucking pixel. I wanted my shit to matter. I was a bundle of energy as a kid. You think I'm a bundle of energy now, you should have seen me at the age of 10. Multiple babysitters, sexual abuse, violence in the home, and all that energy with nowhere to go. I had no idea that years later I would do something with it.